Greetings from the Humongous, the Lord Humongous, the warrior of the wasteland, the Ayatollah of rock and roller.
Alright, hello everybody and welcome to this week's podcast. I am William and I do not condone babies playing with 6-shooters.
Why not? That's awesome. And I'm Anthony, and I do condone toddlers playing with 6-shooters, but we'll leave it at that. Remember those caps? Remember you could hit them with a rock and they'd pop?
Oh yeah?
Yeah. My wife won't let me get them for my son.
Yeah.
My son's 6.
If I have children, my wife will definitely not let me have any of those sort of things for our child.
Arcade, if you're listening, we're going to get one. Alright, welcome to our podcast, everybody. Mad Max. This is all Mad Max. All the time.
Mad Max.
Real quick before we start, 3 podcasts ago, we did our top 5 favorite films of all time. Letting everybody, giving people an insight to us. Of course, we didn't do the bottom 5 of our top 10. Maybe someday. But I think this is 9 or 10. The Mad Max complete series. Yeah, 9 or 10. And again, I'm getting in trouble from my other friend Bill, who's saying, no, 1 movie a line, 1 movie per line. But too bad, Bill. Suck it. All right, this is our Mad Max podcast. Why don't we start with Mad Max?
Oh, really?
1979.
Start with something else.
We could start with Lethal Weapon, but that would be strange.
That's what we were doing.
That
Mad
would be
Max
weird.
Episode. Let's do Lethal Weapon movies.
Let's do it. Oh, we could do Braveheart. I like Braveheart. I even like What Women Want. I mean it. I like that. No, Mad Max, 1979.
Yes.
Directed by
George Miller.
George Miller, who was a doctor.
Yeah.
An official PhD doctor working at a hospital. And he wanted to make movies, and he was a car head, and he said, hey, I got the money, let me get a couple investors, and he came up with this little idea, strange little idea, yeah. Mad Max. Yeah. Bill? Mad Max.
Mad Max.
What you think? What you thinking?
I like it. I think it's really, really good. I think George Miller had a great, post-apocalyptic story. I can definitely see why in 1979 it didn't really get the American audience pumping as much as
it played drive-ins.
Some of the other ones did.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, it's very dated. I mean, you can definitely see, but
it's dated, but it still walks the fine line of it's dated and it still works.
You can tell that it's a 70s movie.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, it's a very, very 70s movie. Yeah. And it was funny. I never really could place of how quickly the wastelands, in the first one they're watching TV and they're wearing normal clothes, they're living in a house. Then all of a sudden they're out in the middle of the desert. And
how much time did go by between Mad Max and the Road Warrior?
It's supposed to be like 5 years.
Wow,
like
that was fast.
Like, wow.
Well, things were drying up.
Yeah,
the oil was drying up, and
I think what I read on some other stuff. Apparently in the timeline lore, I guess there was a nuclear war that happened or something like that
they
radiated water.
Do they mention that in the Road Warrior? I don't know.
I think they
narration
might have,
maybe. After the wars.
But I always kind of wondered, how that deteriorated so quickly.
Yeah, really quick. Like, well, Max is upset, his family's dead, let's just kill the world. And by the way, that's how every post-apocalyptic movie narration or preview starts.
Mm-hmm.
It was after the wars.
And I love the little things they threw into that movie too, like the baby playing with the 6-shooter at the beginning of the film. And they don't really comment on it, just real quick. There's a little kid playing with
oh,
Dirty
Max,
Harry,
look at your kid. Yeah.
Dirty Harry style, gun.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I don't like it. No, I love it. I agree with everything you said. It is very 70s. But who cares? So's freaking Taxi Driver. It's a movie that holds up. It endures definitely. I saw it when I was 11 on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, this is the best movie since Star Wars. It still holds up, and I still get. I recently purchased the brand new special edition Blu-ray for the first time ever. I still get excited. I still think it's cool. I still get that cool. All these movies have that cool factor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that is. Look at them in their leather and their sawed-off double-barrel shotguns. That is cool. That's how I want cops to look.
Which is really not an effective weapon, and they used it so much.
No, I know, right? Yeah,
it's like driving. There's a car chase, and he's trying to shoot him with a shotgun. Yeah, that's good. Little old lady, bikes coming at you, trying to shoot him with a shotgun.
No. Something crashed in my house, folks, but we'll be okay. I have no idea what it was. Let's just keep going. It's recorded, I think. Anyway, that threw me off. No, it's the cool factor is still there for me. One thing I love, and I want to, when I get rich, I will buy and own, of course, his supercharged black car with fuel-injected system sticking out. But I will also have it painted exactly. Yes, I will be driving. I'm not going to be a pursuit guy. I'm going to be the Interceptor. And that is one of the greatest all-time character entrances in movie history.
Well, actually, the Interceptor was the police car they had. Did he have a name for the
No, that's edition? What I mean. Oh, no. I'm talking about in Mad Max.
Right.
When we very first see him.
That's the police car.
Yellow and blue. That's what I'm talking about. When we very first see him, he's fixing his car and he's listening to, on the radio, the chase with the toe cutter. Or no, he's the Night Rider. Sorry. Think of him when you look at the night sky, is what toe cutter, the bad guy, says. And we'll get to the really cool Mad Max series names later. But... and you just see a little piece of his face. You don't see him wholly. And then when they drive by him, he's like, "I'm taking it." I don't remember his exact line. I'm in, or I'm coming in, or I'm taking it from here. And he pulls out, and the camera stays wide. And you've seen all these cars. They say pursuit, pursuit, pursuit. And he pulls out an Interceptor. Like he's gonna get him. I just think that's one of the cool. And once the Night Rider, he's riding there. I'm the Night Rider. And he's taunting all the cops. But once he sees the Interceptor behind him, he starts crying. And he's like a little baby. Yeah. And he gets it big time in the first of many great, in the series, amazing stunt work. Crashes. No, I love it. It is dated, but it's one of the dated films where it doesn't matter too much.
The acting wasn't entirely the best.
No, it's not.
Only a few actors that I don't think really kind of performed well. The police chief or whatever. What was he? A big leather bar, gay, balding? No idea.
Max, come on!
But he definitely read his lines.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the only two people that were any good, of course, Mel Gibson and the toe cutter, the bad guy.
Right.
And we'll get to him later.
Apparently
something special.
No,
he blew it, folks.
I'm not gonna blow it.
All right, he blew it.
I'm not blowing it.
Okay.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Nothing. Nope.
Okay. Continue.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Filmed in Australia.
Yeah.
1979.
Filmed in Australia, and for some strange reason, the Samuel Arkoff, who any bad monster movie you saw in the 50s, probably most of the movies they do on Mystery Science Theater are produced by Samuel Arkoff and distributed by American International. And they did some gems, but mostly drive-in fare. And he bought it, and he distributed it, and he didn't think American audiences could handle Australian accents. Because that Mad Max came out in 79, and it was literally 2 years later that the Australian movie boom started coming over here, and all these great Australian films that were not dubbed. So the Samuel Arkoff says, let's dub these guys with American actors, and all my life that's the only version I've known. But then once we find Mel Gibson and he's a star and we know him, we're like, who's this? You know, he's like, yeah, this really goofy American accent, and it doesn't work. And the weird thing is, they give the bad guy a British accent. And I'm like, well, why don't you just leave his Australian accent, because he whispers it all, so it doesn't even sound Australian, it sounds British, so leave him alone. But the bad guy, whom we won't speak of. But, you know, beyond that, even that way, I've always loved it. But now we can finally have it with the original dialogue. I mean, just... Yeah,
I don't like movies with dubbed. I think even when I watch, like, a foreign film,
I hate that. I can't do it.
Watch it.
I can't do it. Even when they dub their own voices, I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't either.
I can read. I can read. I've been reading. I've been doing it for at least 10 years. And by God, I'll read the subtitles.
I'm still learning. Yeah.
And real quick, there is an argument for that, though. I mean, a lot of people say, but then it takes you're losing the vision of the, well.
Yeah, I don't feel that way. I feel like it becomes second nature. I think once you first start it, you're, a little distracted, but then I think it becomes second nature, and you're not even realizing what's going on.
No, exactly.
And I think it takes away from what the director wanted, but that's a whole nother podcast we can bring up later.
And a good one, really. And a subject for the page, folks.
Yes.
One thing I really like about Mad Max is the setup. I mean, they set it up slowly. Because if you think about it, the carnage doesn't start... Well, Max's revenge carnage.
Yeah, the revenge.
Doesn't start... It's like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes of the film.
And it's quick.
And it goes quick.
Yeah, he does it. He does a couple things. He gets effed up. He does a couple more things. Done. And we can talk about everything at this point, except in the new one. There are no spoilers at this point. and if you haven't seen these movies, turn this off or go watch them and then listen to this
Rated
later.
S for spoiler.
Yeah, really. Rated A for awesome. One thing I really like, though, the setup. They set everything up slowly. At first, you think the family scenes are kind of cheesy, and they are. They're playing that cheesy background saxophone music, and and they're always making silly faces that he puts on that mask to make her smile. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we
you
get
love
it.
Each other.
You guys are happy, serene, but it works because then the carnage is bad. What happens? The bad guy motorcycle gang runs over his wife and baby.
Yeah, which is nice too, because I don't know. Not that running over babies and women is on motorcycles.
This is the guy who said baby shouldn't touch a
the way that they
shooter.
filmed it, because they don't show you this graphic, this totally terrible scene of them running over them, and you could have some movies today that would have added as they went over the,
or you'd see a baby hand.
But all they show is the old lady screaming and just pan out with the shoe and the ball.
Yeah, it's a quick zoom to the bad guy as he revs up his and then the shoe and the ball just roll away, and you know what happened, and we don't need to see anything. And
they did a lot with the movie, which is nice, because I think a lot of the movies today that they want to show that gore and that let's watch the guy get blown in two, and that movie was kind of nice. Even when the guy gets his goose gets
it.
Yeah. They don't show it necessarily. They show it happening, the fire. Yeah, going towards the car, and then
when he goes to see him at the hospital, the arm, the charred, burnt arm.
It's nice. I don't think. Yeah, it takes something away sometimes when they just.
I agree.
They're trying to do all the special effects.
It's like certain sex scenes. It's more erotic sometimes what you don't see.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, I wonder. Oh, there it is. I see it now. The wonder is gone. Yeah.
Like the one dude with him and his girlfriend that get raped by the biker gang,
At the beginning?
don't see it really happen. All you see is him with his red ass running through the desert, butt ass naked.
Right.
You didn't need to see all of it happen.
Yeah, they were both raped, folks. Both of them. Him probably more than
her.
Quite
obvious.
Looking at that gang. I think Bubba got him.
His butt was rather red.
Hey, you, stop. Interesting tid note.
A tid note.
Tid note and a side bit.
We make up words here, folks.
Right. Mel Gibson I don't know the actor's name, I don't have it on me, but the guy who played Goose, Mel Gibson, went with him they were buddies from acting school, and went with him to the audition. and Goose was auditioning for Max. And then they, and history stepped in. No, and this is something we'll talk about when we hit the next one, especially. It was really this and the sequel were really the last time you saw car stunts, and you said, "Oh my God, did they get hurt? Did anybody survive that?
Yeah,
how did they survive that?" Oh, Goose, yeah.
Goose.
When he's sliding under that car?
He slides under the car. He gets blown off his motorcycle. He gets thrown in a truck 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
that poor guy.
Yeah, it's right. And the editing is just in that opening sequence where the Knight Riders drive in and the pursuit vehicle's beside him, and the little kid walks out. Of course, right in the middle, standing on the white line. And you see the Knight Rider lick his lips real quick. I'm gonna get him. It's just almost too much to even talk about. Then a truck pulls out, and then they skid off, and then somebody goes through a trailer, and a pursuit vehicle goes in. But all this happens like bam, 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 bam. It's like cut, and and it's amazing. It's Mad Max is a great film, flawed, dated, but a great movie.
Dated.
Great movie.
But
the idea, I think, is fantastic. The idea is amazing. He started the look of post-apocalyptic cinema at that time. He changed it. Yeah. And
desert wasteland.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's fantastic.
And the whole society breakdown stuff too. I mean,
I like that, and I like the fact that the cops are relegated to their building is dilapidated. You see the sign "Halls of Justice," it's right. And the letters are falling off. The building looks like it's ready to be condemned, but it's what they're left with because society is breaking down. I dig it.
Yeah.
And his weird
Which is
boss.
funny because I like that it's the Halls of Justice because he was supposed to be part of a writing or doing something for a Justice League.
He was George
movie.
Miller, yeah.
So
years ago,
I kind of like the Halls of
Justice.
Justice.
Like, by God, I'm gonna get some kind of justice in here. Another side note, got it right this time. Tidbit is what I was going for earlier. The reason those characters all disappear, if you notice, there's never any other mention about the cops anymore. They just never. There's a cut scene where the bad guys storm the police station and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was something to do with society's broken down and they don't have.
They're like, screw it, Max left. We're out of here.
Join gangs themselves.
Yeah.
But
I always wonder, why'd you cut that? That's awesome.
Yeah, kind of gives you a little bit more idea.
Yeah, and shows you that the gangs are taking over slowly. Yeah. And there's the best line in the movie because it happens, and ergo the rest of the series. The best line in the movie is when Max is telling his weird boss that he's quitting, and he says, he's like, "You can't quit, Max. We're police and blah." And Max says, "If I stay out there much longer, I'm going to become one of them." And he does, and it's great. And it's not too long after that.
Very Lethal Weaponish.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. And the costumes, I like the look, the leather. I
don't know why they put Goose on the cover though, the original cover of that. Because we were talking about it in the last podcast.
With
the guy, the motorcycle guy.
He's got the motorcycle helmet and the mask, and Max doesn't have
that. On the podcast or not, but we were talking about how, you never see that, and I was like watching it and going, oh wait, the motorcycle guy.
Goose, That's Goose. That's not right. Well, it looked cool on the poster, I think.
Yeah.
So, and it is a cool poster. But Mad Max, great. Any more thoughts or quips?
No, I don't think so.
About the double M?
The double M?
Sounds like a ranch. Oh, society fell, and now I'm working horses at the double M.
Right.
I'll give this next one its proper title. Mad Max 2. That was the original. I don't know. Have you ever seen the Road Warrior, though? That's awesome.
Road Warrior. I saw that one.
Since they didn't change the voices for America, and they were afraid that not enough people had seen Mad Max, they called it the Road Warrior in America. But it's Mad Max 2.
Right.
Road Warrior, whatever. It doesn't matter.
It's Mad Max
because it is. I'll let you say.
It is
a masterpiece. I'll say.
Okay.
I think it's a masterpiece.
Don't know where you're going with that.
And I think it's a masterpiece, and I also think, and I sometimes I get flack for this, but if you think on it hard enough, you'll see where I'm coming from. I have 2 pinnacle action-adventure movies. There are many that I love, but there are 2 side by side, not one over the other. Raiders of the Lost Ark and Mad Max 2. Okay. I think they are both jaw-dropping when I saw them, jaw-dropping still when I see them. Amazing action, the best ever put on film.
Well, I think America kind of agreed with you with that, because where the first one made roughly $380,000.
Hey, those are $79, so that means it almost hit $1 million.
Mad Max 2 made $4.5 million, so I think...
and $82, that's not bad.
I think people agreed with you with that one.
Yeah.
So, though, the third one made even more than that. And
well, they had Warner Brothers behind them, yeah. And Tina Turner. We'll get to her. Yow! What do you think of The Road Warrior?
I liked it. It's been a while to talk about it in depth. But again, I just think the action in it was a lot better. A lot more of it.
No, it's nonstop.
The first one, they kind of tell you a little background. You learn about Max. You learn about why he, suddenly is, wandering, why he's mad. Yes, very good. Why he's in the middle of the desert, doing what he's doing. You learn more about, the breakdown of society, and there's a police force and what's going on there. And then, Road Warrior gets more into, okay, well, now society has fallen.
Right.
And the shit has really hit the fan. And people are joining gangs and trying to scavenge for resources that, no longer are there. And, society turns to Lord of the Flies, killing people off. And, who's the hero that's going to come and save the day? And there's Max.
But he's not really a hero. He's an accidental hero.
Yeah, I mean, he wants his own stuff, but he.
The only reason, and we'll get to this, I'm sure, in a few. The only reason we have that he helps them in that big giant end mammoth sequence where he drives the tanker, is because he made a deal for gasoline.
Because he wants the fuel.
And then he left with the gasoline, and the bad guys got him, left him for dead, and the gyro captain saved him and brought him back. So he says, all right, let's do it. So he is definitely an anti-hero, I think.
Well, he's definitely an anti-hero. But
a kick-ass one, come on. And I think it's funny that, for instance, a movie like The Warriors, every gang is just somewhere silk suits, somewhere baseball uniforms, somewhere, just leather jackets. And in this, and apparently when society fell, somebody stood up and said, all right, world, society has fallen, and everybody dresses like you're going to a punk rock show or a gay leather bar in the 70s in a basement. Yeah. So, but I'm fine with that. I love that. One of the many, many things I love about the series is the look of everybody. It's just ridiculous good, ridiculously good. Ridiculous good.
Okay, Master Blaster.
Right, that's nice. 2 enter, 1 leaves. Who runs Bada Town? We're getting ahead of ourselves. Oh, I love it. I love this podcast. This could be my favorite. The filmmaking on Road Warrior is tight. It was really good on Mad Max, but you had to tell a linear story.
Right.
This is tight. I mean, real tight. There's no waste, except the land. There's no wasting time. It's about 93 minutes, and it's like almost non-stop action. But there's enough build-up to where when it's not action, it's interesting, and the characters are cool, and the bad guys are amazing, humongous.
Nippy lines.
You have let me down. You've forced me to unleash my dogs of war. That guy's great. In the Jason mask before it became
famous Mel Gibson line from Road Warrior. If you want to get there, you got to get through me. Or
you got to talk. Yeah, you want to get out of here? Yeah, talk to me. Yeah, that's right. I'll drive that tanker. Yeah, I got it. I love that movie. But no, the filmmaking is tight. It's really tight. And I already spoke that it's the action is just, in my opinion, equal to Raiders of the Lost Ark. I imagine the first time I saw both of those 1 year apart, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm surprised I survived it. It's just fantastic, and the bad guys are out of their mind, humongous, and then Wes, which is everybody knows him, but I don't think enough people know his name. The main Mohawk guy.
The main Mohawk guy
who was in Weird
who
Science.
Crashes in his party.
Weird
Science.
Yeah. I got a teaching job. That was the other guy. His name's Wes. Uh-oh, folks. Technical difficulty. My microphone fell. See, I get so excited about the Road Warrior. But his name's Wes, and he's the one that, he's the main not the main bad guy, that's humongous, but his head henchman.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who rides around with the cute blonde boy on the back with a chain, and he holds onto the chain until the feral kid, the little boy, throws his blade slingshot and slices the forehead of his little lover. And here's Wes's whole performance. Yeah! He's always jumping and yelling.
With trivia, which I'm sure you probably know, the original concept for the fourth one was supposed to be that little feral kid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, the fourth one was supposed to be a story surrounding him, and it fell through.
Well, kind of good.
Little trivia.
And we'll get to that in a little bit. But good, because this new one's awesome. My favorite feral kid line.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he says. That's all he says. And he says it he says it with a smile when Gibson plays him that ding 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 ding. That's all he says. I love it. The feral kid.
The feral kid.
Some other great character names in the Road Warrior. We should definitely talk about them because in these movies. And Mad Max, the main bad guy. Of course, you have Max and Goose, but the main bad guy was the toe cutter
and
the Night Rider,
of course, in the beginning.
Bubba and Johnny the Boy.
Johnny the Boy.
And let's talk about real quick. I wanted to mention that the last shot of Mad Max,
yes,
where he kills John. That's Johnny the Boy.
Johnny the Boy.
He blows him up.
Guy.
Yeah, he says it'll take you 10 minutes to hack through those handcuffs or 5 minutes to hack through your bone. Good luck. But they don't. And today we'd see the guy, like you were saying,
get
blow apart.
Yeah.
But you see Max driving. He's upset. The music's mellow but ominous, and he drives for a good minute and a half. You know,
yeah, definitely not 5, and definitely not 10.
Yeah, and the background's getting farther and farther, and you're like, what's? And they're just very quietly in the background. You see this ball of flame.
His elaborate fuse that he made for that moment.
Yeah.
He didn't do a very good job.
Well, I don't think he cared. He just wanted to give him a little hope, knowing that he was going to die, which is even more sinister.
Yeah, well, it should have been more like, you can cut your leg off in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Come on now. Make him think he has 5 minutes. That's awesome. Like, all right, I think I got... Oh, shit. I'm dead. It's all black.
But no, that was a great scene.
But getting back to the Road Warrior, in my opinion, again, the best... Do we really have to say that if we're talking? Like, of course, I'm the one speaking, so we know it's my opinion, and if you're speaking... I never understood why people do that. But in my opinion... the best car stunts in cinema history.
Yeah, you're just making it so people know you're not talking for the rest of America.
That's right.
That's all.
I was speaking to my minions, and we've decided that the Road Warrior, Mad Max 2, holds the best car stunts, crashes, action in movie history, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
In movie history. Amazing. Have never been topped.
No, I don't think
Close.
So. There's a lot of good, chase scenes, but nothing to...
I mean, you can go back to French Connection.
Yeah, but nothing to the extent of, the car chase carnage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen people chase and crash into other cars, and maybe occasionally somebody will hit something so hard they'll fly through the windshield.
Yeah.
But up until 1982, I hadn't seen people do backflips and fly under a truck and get... Oh, my gosh. I don't know. And... I researched this on all of the films, including the new one. Mm-hmm. Many stuntmen hurt, none critically, and no deaths.
No,
amazing.
Good. Yeah, that's amazing.
Amazing.
The scale of the stunt work they had to do for those films.
In the Road Warrior, there's a scene where a guy on a motorcycle hits something. I don't know because the editing is so frenetic. But he hits something and he does this flip. and he was supposed to do like a few flips and land, and he hit it so hard, and he didn't break any bones. He like put his shoulder out of socket. That's the worst that happened to him. He hit it so hard, he flew something like 65 feet. Not up in the air, but just straight, and then landed, and then skidded on his back and his side, and rolling, trying to stop himself, like another 10, 12 feet.
Wow.
And this guy's telling the story, and he's like, yeah, I pulled my arm out of my socket.
Pulled your arm out of your socket.
Right. Oh,
How
my
do you
Jesus.
don't have broken ribs?
I would have been, I love my family and everybody. Then man, if I would have stopped, I would have found religion. You know, I'm alive. Oh my God.
I just saw the last 38 years of my life.
Oh, jeez Louise. But no, that's fan. The stunt work is to this day incredible. And it's, I posted on my personal Facebook page earlier this month. I went to see Fast and Furious 7 or whatever this one's called. And, you know, I don't like the series, but I like where they've taken it. The last couple, they've changed it to this ridiculous,
I haven't seen it after the
gravity-defying. Well, forget about the first 4. It started 5, and then, but you know, the gravity-defying stunts, and really, and I posted on my page that it's ridiculous. The dialogue is horrible. The acting is atrocious. The stunts are completely unbelievable. But I had a great time, you know. But and then I've recently rewatched the Mad Max films, and I'm thinking, I don't ever need to see that again. You know, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't buy it, but I might watch it again. No, I don't need to. If I want to see cool, I'll pop on one of these things. You know, there's no reason to. I mean, yeah, it was fun, but it's Fast and the Furious. You know, I'm like, I don't. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not gonna, you know, I won't watch the French Connection anymore. Well, if I want to see a car chase, I'll put on the Road Warrior. But you know, something like that.
Man.
You know, it really. And again, I won't speak of it yet, but seeing this series really reminds you what you can do with realism, you know?
Right.
It's just fantastic. The Road Warrior, I think, is my second favorite movie of that year. And by the way, I misspoke. It's the same year as Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's 81.
No, it's 81. That would be Empire Strikes Back as well.
That's 80.
It was 81.
That's 80. I challenge on this podcast. I challenge you.
You sure it was 80?
Do it. I'm positive. What are we betting?
I don't know.
Folks, weigh in here. We're not live, but this will be settled by the time you listen to this. But while he's looking that up and proving me right, that means that Mad Max
77, 81, and 83.
77, 80, and 83, my friend.
No.
I love it. Are you ready, folks? There's going to be a big reveal here in just a second. But since The Road Warrior came out in 81, the year after Empire Strikes Back, that's my number 2 movie of that year. It's fantastic. Bill has something to tell you.
Not yet. It hasn't popped up yet.
Okay.
Son of a Buffalo's Goat.
Yep.
No, 1980.
There you go.
I just got my Star Wars geekdom card taken away.
That's right. No, you just got, you know how when you get a punch, do you guys do that in Maryland? I'm from Illinois. If you get
I'm
a
from
speeding,
California.
Oh, yeah, that's right. In Illinois, you get a speeding ticket, they do a little punch on your card, and if you get 3 and 8 punches in a year, you lose your life. So you just get a little punch.
Okay. In my defense, I was 4.
All right. In my defense, I was 11. Wah, wah. So we both lose. I'm an old bastard, and you got the year wrong. But anyway, back to our Mad Max podcast already in progress.
Awesome year,
oh my God, could you imagine? But I think in 81 I have Raiders as my number 1, and Mad Max 2 is my number 2. It's ridiculously good. Great names in that one. Of course, the Gyro Captain, a great character.
Yeah, and he comes back in the third one too, right?
Well, that's what people think. He's playing somebody else. He's flying a plane.
I was
and they
always
should have been
confused.
more clear because, again, recently, that's the one I haven't seen in a long time. When he sees him in Bartertown, in Thunderdome, when Max sees Bruce Spence is the name of the actor, they look at each other like, but not. But he's not the Gyro Captain. I think I thought it all my life.
Each other in that way.
Me
That's
too.
why
Yeah.
He was like running after him and.
Yeah, I did. I just got that. I'm like, oh, that's not it. He's not playing the Gyro Captain. But in Mad Max 2, you got Gyro. You got Humongous, the feral kid, Wes. And I think that one really began the official. Oh, and the Toady. I like that name. I think that really. I mean, that was the leather were their uniforms, and there's not a lot of punky look in the original Mad Max, and I think the Road Warriors set that. Mohawks and paint your face and leather chaps.
First one was still more kind of biker gangish, like Hell's Angels.
Yeah,
with a little bit of
exactly.
Something else in there.
Yeah,
but not as punkish.
Right, and I think Road Warrior set the tone.
It's like during that 5 years that Max is in the desert, apparently clothing got destroyed as well. And they had
I told you they made an announcement.
They had to find,
if you
only thing left is Hot Topic.
If you like Barry Manilow, you're screwed in the wasteland. If you go to rock concerts, wear those clothes and fight for survival.
Apparently Harley Davidson shops were the only thing
I know, right?
Not destroyed after that 5 years.
I have a theory on that. The reason there were so many motorcycles. Because all the cars are rebuilt, but the motorcycles look alright. They're just dirty. And I think it doesn't take as much fuel for motorcycles. That's just a theory of mine. That's a theory. That's why there's
that hypothesis, though.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, there's tons of motorcycles in all the films. And I think
you don't need
that's
as much
less fuel. Yeah, and you can get far and fast.
The Doom buggies, you got your little go-karts other than...
Yeah.
You got a just lawnmower engine on there instead of some big old...
theory. Well, theory, folks.
I like that.
A theory for you. And I also have another theory. Oswald did not do it alone. Okay, Mad Max Beyond Lee Harvey.
Oh, gotcha.
Whoa, that went over like a lead balloon with
that was like a joke grenade.
All right. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. It's a very long WWF.
Oh, no.
Cage battle. No, I liked it. No, it was good. I was 85, so I was older.
We don't need to know your age.
That's
because that means
I'm going to keep throwing it out there.
Yeah, right.
Even though I look like I'm probably about 20 years older than Anthony. No, I think I remember that one the most because I was a little bit older at that time.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. A lot of people give it flack, but
a lot of people.
I liked it.
I think.
And Max looks good for it being 20 years after Road Warrior.
Yeah, right. He looks he has
little
gray hair at the beginning with the gray
hair.
streak. Then he gets a cut, do a punky cut. Yeah, right on. I've always thought it was underrated. It's not perfect, but much like being Return of the Jedi or Godfather 3 or Indiana Jones 3 and 4, because you're the least of the series does not make you a bad movie. I've always touted. I saw it 3 times in the theater when I was 15. All right, I'm old. And I really one of the things I love about it, it's 3 movies in one. The first half you get the Thunderdome stuff,
right?
And in the second half, even though there's a couple girls, I call it the Lost Boys part.
Yeah, I see that.
Because he gets saved in the desert by the Lost Boys.
Which I think a lot of people, that's where people lose interest.
That's where it lost a lot
moment.
of people, yeah. But he's not there very long.
No.
And they do this Lawrence of Arabia adventure through the desert to find the big flying machine. A plane. and then the last 25 minutes, you get your Mad Max stuff.
You get your Mad Max.
You get your car chase.
Chases, yeah.
And it's cool because they're on a train on tracks with the cars all around them this time. And is it as amazing as the Road Warrior stuff? No, but it's every bit
as exciting.
And it belongs in the stunts are lesser, but still amazing and cool. And I love a lot of flack again. Tina Turner, I love her. I mean, I didn't say, ooh boy, I hope she does a movie with Meryl Streep soon. But I mean, she was playing Auntie Entity,
right?
The leader of Thunderdome. And, it's Tina Turner. She looked cool.
Yeah.
I thought she was fine.
She did good.
She has that way of talking.
Yeah, I don't think she was, like
she's angry
too bad of an actress. I mean, there was a lot of
she wasn't bad.
Singers and stuff they threw into movies during the 80s that I would say probably did a worse job.
Yeah. Rick Springfield.
Mick Jagger.
Oh, God. Reject. Good Lord. I'm sick to my stomach again. But no, and she did the 2 songs. One of them was a big radio hit, We Don't Need Another Hero. It's all right. Mm-hmm. It kind of doesn't belong in a Mad Max movie. But the opening song, One of the Living, does. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a cool, pumpy, and the lyrics are, the desert sun, you don't want to fight, but sometimes you've got to. Right. You shoot bullets of fire. Then I'm like, yeah, they pump you up. And
it takes you back to him being kind of that anti-hero. Yeah. I think through all 3 of those movies, he doesn't really want to come back from the places he has descended to after the first movie, but he gets put in the kind of situations where he, kind of fine.
I know, right?
I'll help these little orphan kids out.
It comes down to the fact that the only reason he exists anymore is his own survival. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care about the survival of the human race. And sometimes when he finds himself starting to care a little bit, that's when he turns into a jerk.
Right.
Because he doesn't want to bring his human emotions back because there's no need for it anymore.
He'll just get ran over by motorcycles.
Yeah, exactly. And shoes will fly off. No, and that's the same thing in this one. He fights in Thunderdome because he has to.
Right.
And he gets out of there and he meets the Lost Boys, air quotes, and girls. And he helps them so he can get the hell out of there, and then at the end there's the big chase so he can get the hell out of there. And at the end of every movie he's walking off, going away. He's the lone wolf, the road warrior, and I love it. I think Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, on my 5-star scale, I give it 4. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great movie. It's just lesser of the 3.
Yeah.
Of the original 3. But I think it's fun. I probably hadn't seen that since the early 90s, mid-90s. Mm-hmm. And when I rewatched it here a few weeks ago, I'm like, this is great. Mm-hmm. That opening song came pumping on, and I was like, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. And the Thunderdome idea is fantastic.
Well, I think the whole city idea, because I think 20
Bartertown?
Years after the fall of society and everything's gone to crap. What are you going to have? You're going to have these, if there is a town of some sort, it's probably going to be this town. What do you got? What do you need and what do you got?
Everything's fueled by pig shit, literally.
Right, alternative fuels.
Yeah, and we're not sure who runs, and there's even somebody called the Pig Killer, by the way, is one of the character names. And we're not sure. It's either Auntie Entity or Master/Blaster who runs Bartertown. We don't know. It's a really cool idea. And then, of course, the fight in Thunderdome is amazing.
Yeah.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves. I love what's his name? Dr. Dealgood. The guy who comes in, says the little rhyme.
To
start the Thunderdome. Yeah. And then he looks at the camera and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here. I'm like, that's fantastic. I love that thing. And, he meets the Lost Boys girls. There's a lot of talk in there, but it's cool. It's interesting, I think. Mm-hmm. They're in this cool cave. They all look punky enough. And, they cut Mel's hair, so he won't have to have the long hair. And no, I think it's a as I'm talking about it, I like it better, and I've always liked it a lot. Yeah. I think it's sad that a lot of people think, oh, that's the sucky one. I have the soundtrack to Beyond Thunderdome on CD, but I buy albums occasionally still, and I found it on album for $3.
Wow!
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah,
be part of my collection. But on the plastic that it was wrapped in at the used record store, there was a note on it that said, it's $3 because it's Tina Turner music in a Mad Max film, which is bullshit. I even kept the sticker on. But I'm like, that's funny, but that's harsh, man, Harsh. And I think it did alienate a lot of Mad Max fans, and I kind of don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think most people were still pumping up for the...
Yeah, they just want it to all be on the road.
Yeah,
one long
another
chase.
Hour and a half.
It had more story than
Car Derby.
Mad Max. Yeah.
It definitely had more story than Mad Max did. It was still it was still a linear film, like you were saying before. That Road Warrior was a lot going on in an hour and a half. With most of it being, all car chase and explosions.
Yeah.
Where Thunderdome again came back and kind of made it a lot more linear. There was more of a storyline going through that, kind of like the original Mad Max was, and maybe that's what caused people to they were expecting another hour and a half, explosions and car flips.
They got one. but first, my favorite name besides Matt, and for those of you for the uninitiated, Master Blaster is one of the best characters ever.
Oh, he's great.
Blaster is the big hulking behemoth who fights in the Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
And Master is the little guy who sits on top of him and rules him.
Correct.
Master Blaster. What a great idea. But my favorite name in that film is Tun Tun Tattoo.
Tun Tun Tattoo.
Tun Tun Tattoo. It's Auntie Entity's. You might remember. Bill hasn't seen it in a while. The pole with the
little
kabuki face. Yeah, that's Tun Tun Tattoo. I love that. I love that name. No, it's a great movie. I love it. Is it a masterpiece? No.
No. But
is Mad Max? No.
Yeah.
But are they bad? No.
Right.
They're great movies.
Yeah, I agree.
All part of a trilogy. Or they were.
Yeah.
Now, Bill hasn't seen this, and a lot of you haven't, and I've had at least 10 plus people in my life ask me if they should go see Mad Max Fury
Road.
Road.
Going on.
Yeah.
Those who go to our group page. I had a graduation to go to, so I haven't been able to see it yet. So.
Boo graduation.
Boo graduation. No.
You should skip your. Spike Lee, when Malcolm X came out, he got in trouble. He's told kids on opening day, skip school and go see Malcolm X. There's nothing wrong. They didn't say quit school. They said just take a day off. No, so I'll talk briefly and very lightly, spoiler free as always, about Fury Road. I hate this because it's been said ad nauseum by all critics.
Mm-hmm.
Best action film in decades.
Really?
The action that we've been talking about here is what you're gonna get the Road Warrior action in this movie, amped up. He has CGI now. Now he doesn't. Here we go. Every podcast, he doesn't Michael Bay it to where you can't make heads or tails of what's going on, and he still actually has real cars doing real things. But he uses it for painting backdrops. There's a giant car chase, and then there's a sandstorm, a giant sandstorm coming through as far as the eye can see, and they go into it and continue the chase, and all of this. And I'm not giving anything away; it's on the preview. While Max, he's a prisoner. He's strapped to the front of a car, hanging there with a mask on. Oh my God. I could make a whole podcast out of this movie.
Max yet again in the desert with a mask on?
Yeah. What? But no, I think it's the best action film in decades. I think it's one of the best films of recent memory. In the fact that, now before I say this, everybody's like, wait, there's not a lot of depth to it. No, there's not. There's not a lot of depth to the Road Warrior either. The character of Max has been established. We don't need any BS backstory. He gives a little narration at the beginning. I'm Max. I've been out here a long time. I'm trying to survive. Start movie. That's exactly what you get. And as soon as he stops talking in the first 15 seconds, you see vehicles coming after him. And it's fantastic. He gets into his car. And it's fantastic. And it starts with a chase. And it's one long chase. And again, I'm jumping a lot of things here because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it. Because you think you've seen it all in this series, you have not. It is amazing, and I mean that in the best possible way. But they get chased all the way one way, and then they have to come all the way back because they've made a different decision. It is phenomenal. It's non-stop fun. And for fans of the series, just the opening credit. There's not an opening credit sequence. There's just something happens and boom, Mad Max, Fury Road. I'm like, yes, come on. Charlize Theron is great.
I hear she pretty much runs the movie.
She's actually the star of the film.
Yeah.
She's the star. It would be like if Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was called Short Round in the Last Crusade. You'd be like, no, Indiana Jones is actually the star, but he's helping him along the way.
Short Round was in the Last Crusade.
Or I'm sorry, folks. What? I got a punch on my geek card too. Damn it! Shit, I was flawless.
But Sean
Temple
Connery,
of Doom. Damn it!
I don't know.
Yeah, Henry Jones. Oh, you know what I mean, folks. This podcast is over. But yeah, it's like that. I mean, he's there all the time, and he has all the great stuff. But yeah, her character is a central character. And you know what? I was even I was a little worried about Tina Turner notwithstanding, but they're trying to sneak Hollywood into my Mad Max movies here. But no, she's great. And quick side note, speaks to her beauty. She's just as hot. She has a metallic arm, and it's been cut off at the elbow, and buzzed head, and dirty, whatever. But no, she's really good.
Anthony likes them dirty.
And I do.
And amputees.
I like my I like my chicks dirty, amputated, and post-apocalyptic. So I'll thrive in that world. I'll have my own little section of Bartertown for something completely different. But she's Imperator Furiosa, and she's another great Mad Max series name, and she's in on the action, and she's amazing. I got off track real quick. The CGI is just mostly used, to paint pictures and sandstorm. I mean, there's a couple moments, there are cars that get thrown around the sandstorm. You need the CGI for that, and maybe a guy during a crash will fly farther than a human probably can. But other than that, it's all real. I mean, there are people. Tom Hardy said that when his son saw the movie, he was terrified because there's a scene, I won't get into it, but he's hooked to something upside down as the car's driving, and it's all real, and he's really strapped to the front, and they're really, just like all the other films, they're really crashing, and there's this whacked out. And you see this in the preview. Again, I won't speak of anything that would be a surprise, but there's this whacked out, every time the bad guys go on their chase, well, every time. It's one long chase. Once the bad guys get out there, they have this giant truck with this humongous setup of amps and a guitar player with this blade on the end of his guitar, like pumping rock and roll and flames. While they're just to fuel their madness, and it is the wildest thing I've ever. There was a guy sitting next to me who was by himself. He was probably 58, 59. I'd peg him at khakis, tucked in polo. I hate that, but I do it. But khakis, tucked in polo. And we kept looking at each other like, holy did you see that? Did you see that? But he had like salt and pepper hair, really nice looking fella. Could be a nice grandfather. I could see him reading a book by the fire. And forgive me, folks, I'm quoting somebody else. When the film is over, we're standing up, gathering our senses, because they all exploded. And I look at him, he looks at me, and I said, well? And he said, Jesus fuck. I didn't expect to hear that out of your mouth. He said, I didn't expect to say something like that, and forgive me if I offended you. I said, no, you didn't, but you just shocked me. We talked for a few minutes, and we just it's a great film. If I was not into this series, it's a great film. It's just a great action film. It's how you do it. If I can quote somebody else, which I have already quoted, it's like George Miller came back and said, all right, I'm done with my children's movies, because he did 2 Babe films.
Right.
And 2
Babe
Happy
the Road
Feet.
Warrior. No.
Yeah, right, yeah. And 2 Happy Feet films. And now the Penguins are going after the...
The poor Penguins.
Yeah, they're still fighting for survival. He's still got the same theme there. Babe doesn't want to get eaten. But it's like George Miller says, okay, I'm done with my kids' films. You guys have been screwing up action movies. Let me show you how it's done. Is everybody watching? Bam. and that's true. That's the way I feel about this. It's an amazing, forget about story. There's not a lot of story there. But again, we already spoke about that. Road Warrior, nothing. It's just an amazing feat of filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're into this series, it just amps it up 1,000%. And it's really great. And Tom Hardy slides nicely into the role of Max. He probably says less than Mel Gibson said in the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't need to. And he's the Mad Max we know. Just as handsome, I guess. I don't know. And no, it works. It's a great film. You already spoke of Hugh Keys Byrne, who played the toe cutter, the bad guy in the original. He is the bad guy in this. He's the one behind the mask with the wild white hair. You never see his face. But you know it's him. You can tell in the eyes. He plays Immortan Joe in this one. He holds all the water. And ergo the rest of the movie. And I want to just speak elaborately about all the stunts and all the wildness, because I'm telling you, you think you've seen it all in this series. You have not. It's just amazing. But I can't, and I don't want to, and I want everybody to experience. And this, here we go. This is a film. I say this for everything. Go to the movies. As much as you can, go to the movies, see movies at the movies. With this movie, it's an experience. It's like the Star Wars coming up in December. Get ready, folks. You're going to get a lot of them. It's an experience. It is a film that is an actual experience, and I would have to rack my brain to the last time a film was in it. Probably Phantom Menace or Revenge of the Sith. They were both film experiences, whatever the outcome, you know. But this, it just has to be, you just got to let it wash over you. It is. And for all fans of the Mad Max series, 15 seconds in, you are hooked. I was like a kid. I was like, yes, here we go. And we go. And we go beyond going. It's just, and I'm saying the same thing over and over because I can't talk about anything. So please, I beg everybody, experience it at the theater. There's more action than all three of them put together. All three of them put together. It's like 10 Road Warriors. It's 2 hours long. It's artful. It's visually stunning. You have characters like Nux, Sit, Rictus Erectus, Toast the Knowing, Cheeto the Fragile, and the Bullet Face. Come on! Some of the best names of the Mad Max universe. So yeah, I give it 5 stars. I don't do that much.
Wow, there you go, folks. Anthony,
5 stars. My best friend, one of my best friends, Brad Baldwin, I'm calling him out on this podcast. He said, he said, what the F? I'll never get this time back. I have not spoken to him about that comment yet. I will. And Brad, I'm sorry, but you're dead wrong. It's just, it really is. It's a movie that's nice to see. It's a movie that made me feel 14 years old again. And it's a movie that made me smile, made my jaw drop, made me feel great. It's a masterpiece. It's an action masterpiece. I would say maybe one of the 15, 20 best action films ever made. Mad Max Fury Road. In 2015, I'm saying this. It's a great film. Please, everyone. Bill, I know you will. But please, everyone, go to the theater. Don't wait for... I don't care if you have a Blu-ray and the best sound system in the world. See it on the screen. It's an experience.
All right.
Mad Max Fury Road.
All right, guys. I'm gone. See you later.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Bill just went to the theater. I will be seeing it once, maybe twice more at the theater. That's how much. Okay. I don't do that anymore. I don't know. I can tell you the last movie I saw twice in the theater, but this is one of them. It's amazing. I cannot wait to see it again.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and it made a lot of money, but Pitch Perfect made more, and that makes me angry. The headline on IMDb Monday morning was Max gets pitch slapped. I'm like, come on, guys.
Really?
It made a lot of money just because that made more.
Perfect?
Yeah, I know, which really broke my heart. Because I honestly thought, and it's a little scary, he spent almost $150 million on this. And it made $55 million, which is awesome. But I thought it was going to make like $100 million on its opening weekend.
Oh, my totals were totally off, wasn't I? I was looking at the budget
of...
Well, we were talking earlier that Mad Max was $380,000. That's how much they spent on that movie.
I was going to say,
yeah,
it's
it made
harshly low.
$8,750,000.
Okay. So, yeah.
Where Mad Max 2 made $23,667,000.
And that had to be fair, that had the bigger release.
Yeah.
That was actually playing in theaters, not only drive-ins. But yeah,
that was just the North American. How much it made in North America. That's not including Australia. It did much better.
Mad Max at the time was the biggest Australian movie ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Road Warrior upped that a little bit. I don't know about Thunderdome, but no, it worries me that it might not make its money back in the theaters, because no matter how big your opening weekend is, you always drop off a little.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think
it's either going to be a slow crawl. Everybody's liking it.
Yeah, it's made a third so far.
Yeah.
So.
But the good news is it'll make it'll make almost its money back and recoup the rest on home video.
Right.
So it'll be a moneymaker. And the good news is he's already writing the script for Mad Max: The Wasteland.
Right.
Its official title, so I can't.
Yeah, I heard they were going to be making another one or two.
Two more.
Actually,
Tom Hardy said he signed on for 2 more.
Yet. Oh, wow.
All I know is it's called The Wasteland, and Miller's starting to write it now.
All right.
So, yay.
Maybe that one will have a story, so everybody
I
will hate
don't
it.
need one.
And then the third one will be another. It's kind of.
We need water, and we need to go here. All right, let's do it. They're chasing us. That's all I need. That's all I need. Yeah, and just give me some leather and some cool cars.
The next one will have the girl from Pitch Perfect.
Well,
maybe this one will make more money then.
Exactly. I was honestly shocked. I thought I knew Pitch Perfect would probably make a lot of money, but I thought that Mad Max is gonna blow this thing out of the water. And nope, because I have to be a realist. No matter how great a movie is, and it is phenomenal, people. And I'm speaking of Mad Max, not Pitch Perfect here. Today's audiences are people who go see Pitch Perfect. Mm-hmm. And the audiences are lesser who go see the Mad Maxes. I don't know. I hate it. But
I guess we also got to think, Thunderdome came out 30 years ago.
30 years, yeah.
Most of the people going to movies nowadays are
30 years older. Which would make me...
Who are your moviegoers, are probably younger. So who are going to go see Pitch Perfect? Mad Max is going to be...
Yeah. And, again, to be fair, you're right. The movie-going audience is young. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to see.
Because those youngins have ruined it for us older people.
Yeah, they have. And you know what?
Put your cell phones away.
Oh, God, don't get me on that. There's a whole podcast right there. I kicked the back of a girl's chair once. Mm-hmm. I was at The Aviator, Martin Scorsese's The Aviator, me and my buddy Pete, rest in peace. And she wouldn't get off her cell phone. They were, these 14-year-old, they're probably, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. They didn't know they were going to see a Howard Hughes film directed by Scorsese. And she just wouldn't get off the phone. Yeah, I'm in this movie. It's boring. And my friend and I asked her a couple times. And then she'd get back on. And I wear boots a lot. I popped the back of her chair. Her head went, "Gong." And I felt bad for a second. Mm-hmm. And she said, I got to get off the phone. I shouldn't be on it. I said, yeah. So,
yeah, that's right.
So that's right. As long as I didn't give her whiplash.
Well, at least you let her stay in the theater. I would have been out.
We were close to doing that. We were close to doing that.
Out of there.
We were very close, but I thought I'd do the manly thing and kick the back of her chair.
And give me a free ticket.
Yeah, exactly. I've had that before, but again, that's another. Yeah, we could do a whole podcast on how to go to the movies and how not to go to the movies. But
unfortunately, the people who are really psyched right now, opening weekend, are going to be probably the people who know the Mad Max series.
Yeah, of course.
And they're going there, oh my God, it's a new Mad Max movie. Mm-hmm. And, the other people are just like, Mad Max? What's that?
Mel Gibson? Isn't he old? Well, it's not him. It's Tom Hardy. Who? Bane. For all you young ones, it's Bane. Go see it. Bane stars in this movie. Yeah. I mean, it's going to make money, but
even with Charlize Theron,
she's not a box office draw.
Yeah, I don't think
she's been in hits.
People are, oh my Lord, it's Charlize Theron.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Hughes Keys Byrne is in it. He's the bad guy, folks.
Hopefully the word gets out, and if it's as awesome as you're saying,
my theater,
I'm going into, I think it'll probably be just as awesome as you're saying. I'm hoping.
knowing what you know about the series, I can't imagine you not.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think it's a much different type of movie, and you have to go into it realizing it's a post-apocalyptic, car chase rant on, the fall of social society, and, you kind of have that backstory.
Yeah, and you get, and for those saying that it's one long chase, and it is, there's a little story there. Like it's all, and again, I won't say anything, but Charlize Theron is doing something for someone, and there's reasons, and that comes up later, and it adds a whole new wrinkle in what they're trying to do. So, God, folks, I'm so sorry. Second time. I get excited. These post-apocalyptic, but it puts a wrinkle in what they're trying to do, and this is the coolest yet technically most unprofessional podcast we've had yet. Holy shit! And it's all me. I apologize.
If at some point you guys want to donate money so we can get real equipment,
we'll get a studio, that's fine. Holy crap. But anyway, no, I won't say anymore. We might touch on it next podcast or the one after that maybe. And
my thoughts
after Bill has seen it, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of back and forth on the page. We don't have to chastise you guys anymore. You guys are making comments, and we owe our listeners an apology, Bill. They weren't seeing the posts.
Fuck them. No, just kidding.
Well, there they go.
No, just kidding.
He said,
I love you guys.
I love you guys. We used to chastise all of you. Comments, damn it, comments. Well, they weren't getting the posts. That's why we made the group. So we apologize for chastising all of you. But
especially the 3 or 4 people who are constantly helping us with our discussions on it.
Special shout out to Kenny. How do you pronounce the last name? Do it. I get it now. I get the name. Kenny Do It. All right. To Kenny Do It. Bill's brother.
Yeah, John.
Steve-O Flores and Tiffany Sisman, especially.
We've been having some really, really awesome conversations on there, and please go to this group, join.
Yes. Tell your friends.
Join the conversation.
Yes, we have 112 people in the group.
Oh, really?
Now. 112.
That jumped up about 5 people.
Or 111, one of the two. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I won't out people, but we have some decent followers in there. A couple people in the business, to be honest.
Excellent.
And I won't out anybody, but people are listening. We're getting it out there. So
all right.
Thank all of you.
Yeah, definitely
for that. Anything else you'd like to add to this
Oh my God.
Right. Folks, I'm very sorry about today's ridiculous podcast. Anything else? I'll do that.
The only thing we usually do at the end is, try to find a lost treasure. It's a segment that we're trying to do. This one was very, very difficult because it is that kind of post-apocalyptic, but I also like to, well, you don't have to do anything, Anthony. I just throw this at him, He
just outed me. I'm over here. Damn it, I forgot about the hidden treasure segment.
So I thought I like to come up with something that kind of goes around what we've been talking about. And so I'm going to get chastised.
Don't say 1990, the Bronx Warriors.
Oh, you got me now. So I just thought I'd throw out a couple out there real quick.
Okay.
A couple people probably would know, other ones they wouldn't. But in the kind of the same vein, Waterworld.
Oh yeah, it's
Waterworld.
Mad Max on the ocean.
It's on the water.
Or on the water.
And I would say just stuff that people probably wouldn't know. No Escape with Ray Liotta.
Not a big fan.
Not a big fan of that one?
I don't hate it.
Right.
It just kind of could have been better. It could have thrown some better. But that is I recommend people see it. No Escape.
Not Australian. It's Scottish, but Doomsday. Also kind of in the same vein. So,
Doomsday, I'm pointing at it in my Blu-ray collection,
there you
folks.
go.
It's a great movie. Doomsday, very quickly. Doomsday is a great film. It is Escape from New York and Road Warrior mixed with some Knights of the Round Table stuff.
A little bit.
And it's weird, futuristic craziness. And it's great. I love that movie. Great choice.
Kind of 3 movies out there if you're looking for something after you're done with all 4 of these Mad Maxes and you're like, I need more post-apocalyptic
I don't want
carnage.
cities anymore. Yeah, right. There's too many buildings in the movies now. I need a wasteland.
Waterworld, a little bit more family friendly. The other 2, not as much.
Well, I wouldn't say. Well, I mean, yeah, but family.
Well, okay,
friendly.
family.
You
I'm
can
not
watch it
saying
with your family.
Not
yeah.
Rocketeerish, but it's not
Yeah.
overly gory.
No. And quickly, and then we should wrap up.
The other two are Doomsday.
The only two are Doomsday, especially, is violent. Yeah. Wonderful movie. Doomsday. It's my favorite of the ones you brought up. Waterworld. Everybody's probably like, what? That's supposed to be awful. No, it's not supposed to be awful. It made money, just not a ton of money, because they spent too much, so it lost. There was bad press about that movie because Kevin Costner and his best friend, the director, Kevin Reynolds, I don't know if they ever repaired their relationship, but they lost it on that, and Costner was taken over. There was a hurricane or a typhoon or something that destroyed sets, put them way behind. Money. It was fraught with problems, and it had they were calling it Kevin's Gate, and it had just so much bad press that when it came out, people just said, oh, that's supposed to be awful. No, it has the worst reputation for no reason. It is literally the road warrior on the water. He's an anti-hero. He's a jerk.
Yeah, he's a big
He's
jerk.
a gill man. And it's fantastic. The smokers and it's just
Dennis
this
Hopper.
great. Yeah, Dennis Hopper. Jack Black is his sidekick before anybody knew who he was. It's a great movie. Yeah, Waterworld.
Yeah, so.
It's over there. I have that too. I own it. So yeah, Waterworld was No Escape.
No Escape. That was probably the less of the ones that I had, but it was
Yeah, I didn't
another
like
movie that kind of had the same,
Lance Hendrickson. He's in it.
punky looking people.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, they have the more
trying to take it over.
Their clothing goes along the lines of the more 70s futuristic. Like everybody's clothing's like made out of sacks, and that's how they all look. And then the bad guys are punky. So I mean, I didn't like it, but I recommend everybody see it because it's a little lost thing.
That's something that most people haven't seen probably in another 20 years.
It's a great trio of hidden treasures because Anthony forgot to get one for this podcast. That's awesome. No, Doomsday, Waterworld, and No Escape. Nice one. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna wrap up our Mad Max extravaganza. I was trying not to say that, but I thought I would. And we hope you all enjoyed it. I hope this causes a lot of people to revisit the films or at least revisit Thunderdome, because if you're a fan of the series, most people don't like it. Revisit it. It'll go up, I promise. And please, one last time, go to the cinemas. The cinemas, not your computer. Don't download it illegally. Don't New York street corner. Don't buy it for $10 from some dude. See it on the big screen, the biggest screen you can with the best possible sound and picture quality. It is a total cinematic experience.
Well said.
Thank you. And with that, we're out. Let's rev up the V8 engines and motor on out of here, buddy.
All right.
I'm Tony, and I'm not as big as Humongous, but I'm working out.
Well, that's looking good. And I'm Bill, and as always, I'll see you.
All right. Goodbye.